Coming to you from the beautiful University of South Florida campus in Tampa, it's USF Housing Live.
Hello and welcome to USF Housing Live. I'm your host, David Glover, the Associate Director for Operations and Outreach with Housing and Residential Education at the beautiful University of South Florida in Tampa. We have an exciting episode planned tonight to help you prepare for college. Throughout the summer, we'll be talking about on-campus housing, academic success, dining, financial aid, and so much more. So please be sure to join us on Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. to hear from campus experts and to have your questions answered live on the show. So tonight we'll be talking all about student leadership at USF. First, we'll be joined by a representative from residential education. Later on in the show, we'll have the Associate Vice President and Dean of Students from Student Success joining us. Be sure to drop your questions in the comments from wherever you're watching, and we'll be sure to answer as many as we can throughout tonight's show. Now, I'd like to introduce Lauren Levanti. She is the Assistant Director for Recruitment, Training, and Leadership for Residential Education. How you doing, Lauren?
I'm doing great. How are you, Dave?
I'm also doing well. It's my first time hosting.
You're doing great.
You know, 9 seasons I've been a guest, but now I finally get to host.
Look at you.
I feel like I've reached the pinnacle of my career. I can now retire.
You've made it.
Okay.
It's time.
But it's too early for me to retire, so why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what your role is here at USF?
Yeah, so my name is Lauren Levanti. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve as the Assistant Director for Recruitment, Training, and Leadership in Residential Education. So in my role, I oversee all of the recruitment and training for all of our student staff positions, so mostly our resident assistants and community managers. And then I also oversee all of our student leadership opportunities in residential education.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It is. It's great work, though.
Okay, as long as you enjoy it, then. So, what are some of those leadership opportunities that you're talking about that residential education can provide?
We have several. So first is area council. So that is individual to each area on campus. So it's usually a cluster of 4 to 5 buildings that come together to do programming opportunities for their area. So they do a lot of the fun programming in the residence hall. So if you're really interested in video games, maybe you join area council and you plan a Mario Kart tournament. Up to you. It's that is very student run and directly engages with the residents of their community. Then we have the Residence Hall Association. That is kind of a larger scale area council. So they program for all of our residential students on campus. So they do our Homecoming Holly Block Party, our Res Fest annually, and some other fun events that are large scale programming. The other opportunity that we have is the resident assistant and community manager positions. So they are live-in staff members. They work with our students directly to really mentor them, their fellow students, and they guide other students through their residential life and campus life experience.
Okay. So, a lot of them have resident in the title. Does that mean only residents can do them?
So for area council and the Residence Hall Association, you do need to live on campus to be a part of them. For the resident assistant position and community manager position, you'll live on campus when you get the position, but you do not have to have any previous live-on experience to serve in the role or to apply for the role.
So, obviously, these are great opportunities. At least we see how valuable they can be. But can you tell me a little bit more about what benefits people can gain by taking part in these activities?
Yeah, lots of leadership skills. So how to lead an organization or be a member of an organization, some event planning, if you're interested in going into that, this is a really great place for Area Council and RHA to really provide that opportunity. Some conflict management sometimes, opportunities to really hear your peers and execute things that meet their needs. So a lot of leadership opportunities, a lot of really great benefits, friendships. You know, it's a great place to meet people and get engaged with campus, find other opportunities. It's a good place to start.
So I know I was a student leader.
Okay.
A long time ago. And I know that when I became a leader, it was, I think, my hall director at that time in a different college, different title, but similar function, suggested that I get involved. How do our students get involved in these volunteer type organizations?
Great question. So area council is probably the easiest one. You can walk downstairs and be at a meeting already. So PJs, slippers, whatever, you're there. when you move in on grand opening or that weekend, there will be flyers and information about how to join area council. And then as you'll fill out a Qualtrics form, and then as you express interest in it, your residence life coordinator will reach out and tell you when the first meeting will be, and that's how you get involved. That's it. All you do is show up, and you're there. You're in. You get to be a part of that. For Residence Hall Association, we have biweekly meetings. They are typically Monday nights. That may change in the fall, but we will share that information with residential students when we confirm it. But again, you can just come to a Residence Hall Association meeting and be a part of it. Again, that's more of the larger scale programming. For the resident assistant and community manager position, those are application processes. And I know we're going to talk about that a little later, so I won't spoil it yet.
Well, I think you brought it up, and it's a great segue. So
Now's the time.
the RACM, I think, is probably the pinnacle position that we offer in our area. And so why don't you talk a little bit about what those positions are and what they entail, and then what's that process for trying to actually become an RA or a CM?
Yeah, so RAs and CMs are those student mentors in the community. So they are there when you move in on grand opening. They're smiling faces, welcoming students. They really serve as kind of the guide through the residential experience. So they will build a relationship with all of their residents, make the campus a home for them, and really make them feel like they're a part of a community. They do some programming, lots of conversations. They really want to get to know their residents and make sure that they can support them through anything that they are managing, both successes and challenges.
So they're not what a lot of people fear. They're not like the hall cop.
They're not the police.
Right.
They don't want
Right.
to write a report.
They're mentors.
They're mentors.
Right.
They want our students to learn and grow, even if that means learning from mistakes.
Everybody can make a mistake. So
That's true.
how do they become an RA or a CM?
So we are about to kick off our recruitment for the 2024-2025 academic year. And so that application will open in early October 2023. It typically closes the last week of November, just after Thanksgiving. So that Sunday or Monday after Thanksgiving, the application will close. And then we will head into our workshop process in January. So the workshop process allows our students to really engage with the RA role. So they will do a couple activities that model what our RAs and CMs do throughout the academic year. So we don't do formal interviews. We do that process, and then we typically let candidates know whether they've received the position or not by the end of March.
Okay, great. So we talked a lot about a lot of different things, and for those who are listening in the audience, please put your comments in the chat so we can answer as many questions as possible. Where do all of our students learn about these various activities?
The two best places to start are with your RA or CM and your residence life coordinator. They're all right there in the community every day, and they want to help. So those are the two best places to go. They all have a wealth of knowledge about all of these opportunities. And then you can always check the USF Housing website. We update that pretty regularly to make sure that the most up-to-date information is there and ready to be accessed.
So when you were a student, what positions did you hold?
Ooh, good question. So I started in area council, or hall council, I think it was called for me.
I did too. Yeah.
I started there, and then I became what was called a night host. So we had desks in our communities, and so that was a good opportunity for me to meet a lot of people in my community in a different way. And then I became an RA, and I did that for a couple of years, and I did some other scattered student leadership opportunities across
You did a lot more than I
campus.
did.
I was very involved. I did a lot.
I was president. That was about it.
Of Hall Council?
Hall council.
Great experience, and look
Yep.
at you now.
And then I was offered an RA job, but I didn't take it.
Okay, it's not for everybody. That's
But
okay.
no. But yeah, you can learn a lot. So how do people leverage these activities and these experience in leadership opportunities in college later on in life?
Great question. So I think a lot of the skills that employers are looking for can be developed through a variety of leadership opportunities. So just having a leadership opportunity or leadership position is a really great experience to help you prepare, even to learn some of the things that you're good at and some things that you need to continue to work on. So you'll get some time management skills, some people management skills, which is huge, the ability to work with others, build relationships in a professional manner, a lot of different things. And the nice thing is that these experiences can really be tailored to what you're looking for. So If you're not an event planner, that doesn't mean you can't join area council. Maybe you want to do the marketing. We always need people to make flyers, social media posts for our HRE team to post. We always want those opportunities. So if you've got a specific niche, we can make it work for you in RHA or area council, or sometimes even in the RANCM position.
Boy, I remember we made flyers on a Ditto machine. It was a long time ago for me.
Yeah, we
But-
don't use that anymore.
No, I don't, I have a feeling, but you miss the banana smell. If anybody talked to your parents, they might know about the banana smell from a Ditto. But we actually do have a question from, I'm going to say Celise, and she asks, what's the best way to get involved if you don't have an RA?
Oh,
So I'm going to guess that she might be a commuter.
okay. So I know that Dean McDonald is coming on next to talk about a lot of different opportunities, but we have a ton of student organizations and other leadership opportunities. And then if you're interested in getting involved in the residential experience, that RA and CM position is a great opportunity. You know, if you've got friends that live in the residence hall,
There
you're
you go.
welcome to come to our events and programs. We're not going to turn you away. You know, we want you to come and engage, and we can help you get connected to other opportunities too. We want to help everybody.
Yep. So Ariel asks, how do I get into how do I get to housing? Boy, that's it's a loaded question, and so I'll answer that a little bit. You know, to live on campus, you need to apply. The application is available on the housing portal, and you can find that from the housing website, which is usf.edu/housing. And but what's more important is once you get into housing, it's everything we've been talking about tonight is taking advantage of that whole opportunity that housing can offer. And you know, residential education and housing are only one part of the institution. And we're going to learn a lot more about that with our next guest. But any other final comments you want to add about the leadership opportunities that we can offer?
I just want students to get involved in whatever way works best for them. It's okay if there's one opportunity that appeases to you more than another. Please just get involved. And if you don't know how to get involved, ask your residence life coordinator or your RA or CM because they want to help. And especially our RAs and CMs who are students, they know so many opportunities. They'll help you find exactly what you're looking for.
And there are a lot of your friends out there may already be involved. And so they can also lead the way.
Exactly.
And so there are a variety of different opportunities out there, and really the sky's the limit.
Exactly.
All right, well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and now it's time to take a break, take a short break, and we'll be right back with USF Housing Live right after this.
My name is Kabir Turkha. I am a junior and my major is psychology. My future plans are to become a therapist. I heard about this position through a friend of mine. She was actually an RA as well in Castor Hall, and I just saw what she was doing, the way she was interacting with her residents, and the work that she was doing, which was remotely making sure that the students were doing all right, holding events so that the students could come over, have a great experience at college, which is something that I would have really appreciated as a student in my first year or any time living on campus. So that's the reason why I chose to be an RA. So my creative interests definitely include singing, dancing, painting. As you can see behind me, those are all paintings that I've made. I also might join a ceramics club soon at USF. Another great thing about being at USF, you get to choose from various organizations that match your interests. So if you want, I can just show you one of the paintings that I did that is very close to me. It's this one. I know it's not very artistic or anything, but this is one painting that we did in one of our staff meetings. It was just a bonding activity, which just goes to show you that as a role in being an RA, you get to experience so many things. You get to bond with a team that you will love at the end of the year and will miss. So yeah, this is just my creative side. The best part about being an RA, it's definitely interacting with various new residents each year, getting to know them and doing the duty rounds just because you get to interact with them, have a fun conversation, and yeah, just making sure that they're doing great at college. I think people should definitely think about being an RA just because it allows them to develop new skills that they haven't already. It allows them to create a work-life balance before they actually enter their career fields. It also allows them to meet new people, interact with them, get to know more about various identities. And since at USF we do believe in diversity, so that is one great thing about being an RA, is that you get to interact with various people from very different backgrounds. You also get to engage in your creative side, which just provides you another additional push to be an RA.
Welcome back. For those of you just joining us now, this is USF Housing Live, and we're here to help you prepare to live the Bulls life at USF. Ask us your questions in the comments, and we'll answer them live on the show. Our second guest for this evening is Associate Vice President and Dean of Students from Student Success, Dr. Danielle McDonald. How are you doing, Dean McDonald?
I'm well. I think the rain has finally gone by. Our very few little rain that we get in Tampa, and looking forward
Don't worry,
to
that'll
the rest
improve.
of our evening. I know. I know.
We're not going to be
We're starting
dry
the
forever.
rainy season. Yes.
So you can tell us a little bit more about who you are and what your role is here at USF.
Sure. So I have been at USF for 11 years now, loving campus, loving Tampa. I serve as the Associate Vice President and Dean of Students. And when I'm talking to new students, especially those coming right out of high school, I typically explain my position as being a mix between your high school principal, your vice principal, and your guidance counselor. So a mix between all of those, and thankfully I don't have to do it alone. I have 10 departments that are in my portfolio, which is called Community Development and Student Engagement. And so those departments all work together to focus on creating environments where students can feel a sense of belonging and success outside of the classroom, and really looking to make this large, huge university feel like a small community and find their place in that.
That sounds like a much bigger job than I've ever had.
Dave, you could run all of it.
Oh, I don't. Well, we'll see. Maybe one day I'll learn how to do that. But why don't you try to give us some examples of the resources your teams offer in the realm of student leadership?
Yeah, great. So every one of our departments are run, just like Bulls Live, run by students. They are in positions, in student leadership positions, where they are running many of our programs, activities, our services. So anyone who has been to a homecoming event or been to played in an intramural games or gone to campus recreation will have seen students actually leading a lot of those activities. So one of the great ways of getting leadership experiences and getting paid is through student employment in many of these areas.
I don't think I got paid when I was a student.
No, I think we were volunteers, and we were very gullible somehow to do that. But
Well, I'm glad that they're getting paid now.
yes, I am too. I am too, because what it does is it creates opportunities for students who do need that paycheck, but also want to have those experiences that allow them to build on leadership skills. So that's one way. We have over 750 student organizations today.
That's a lot.
That number could change tomorrow because students create new organizations all
Only
the time.
goes up, right?
It typically only goes up. We
Okay.
very few times do we lose organizations. And that is because those student organizations, I like to call those leadership learning laboratories. This is where they are learning how to lead their peers, which is a huge skill to learn. They prepare budgets and they have to defend those budgets in front of student government. They do purchasing, they put on programs, they put on trainings, they plan conferences. So student organizations do a lot of work on our campuses, and that takes people who are members and are very active members. That takes, somebody running minutes and making sure there's agendas and all the details and logistics are taken care of, doing marketing, and leading the organization. And so all of those activities are transferable skills to their careers and jobs. And so that's why I call it a leadership learning laboratory, because the stakes are low. You can make mistakes, you can learn from them and move on, and then you won't make those mistakes in your career where it's going to have a little bit higher results. We also have ways for students to just kind of see if this is an area that they're interested in. So our Center for Student Involvement and Student Government have these groups called street teams. And these are students that help the day of events, put on events and programming that they do. And so it's a way to get a taste of the work that those organizations and departments do, and then be able to go on and take leadership positions in those areas later. And then we offer leadership training and development. So we don't expect that, on day one, you're ready to lead student government necessarily.
I think some of our students might think so.
Some of our students either think that, and there are some that are definitely capable of that.
Yeah. We have some great students that come to USF.
Absolutely. And they've come with a lot of leadership skills as well. But what we want to do is make sure that we continue to foster that, because I truly believe that any student can be a leader. And so we need to make sure that we are fostering that. So we do that through leadership classes. So our Center for Leadership and Civic Engagement actually offer classes. They offer trainings, lunchtime leadership series. We have conferences, and then many of our other departments also do training and development of their student leaders as well. So we spend a lot of time making sure that our students have the resources they need to be great leaders as well here, and then developing those skills that they can take with them.
So leadership development really is well beyond student government.
Absolutely, yes. You can be a leader in a religious organization. You can be a leader on the intramural fields. You can be a leader in residence education, as Lauren mentioned. And then in every aspect of the university, there are student leadership positions. We have a value of empowering students, and that we are student-led departments and organizations and focused on students in that way.
So is there, I'm going to guess that all these opportunities are open to all of our students here at USF, all of our matriculated, admitted students, so our transfers, our new freshmen, our graduate students, there's a organization that they can all participate in.
Absolutely. So any student who is enrolled at the university can take part in any of the student organizations, any of the activities or events that are on campus. We have some organizations that are tailored just to graduate students. We have organizations that may be tailored just to certain majors. And so that's why out of 750 student organizations, I would think that some people could find one at least that they're interested in.
If not, apparently they can create their own.
And if not, they just have to find 10 other people that are interested in it and start an organization as well.
So it requires 10 people. What else does it require?
It requires 10 people and an advisor. So we want to make sure that those student organizations have an ability the opportunity to engage with faculty and staff as they're learning how to lead an organization. And so every one of our organizations also has an advisor who is a full-time faculty or staff member at the university.
So not only do you get the leadership experience, you get some mentoring, hopefully, from that advisor.
Exactly, yes. Okay. And what we have found is that students really want to have more engagement opportunities with faculty and staff. And that's where your letters of recommendations can come from for the future. That's where that mentoring can happen.
Maybe an internship.
An internship, all kinds of different results could come from that. So that is another great opportunity and result of getting involved and getting some of those leadership positions.
So where do students go to find out all the information about our leadership opportunities?
Yeah, that actually is probably one of the most difficult questions because there are so many places where a student can find things. So when students are enrolled, they will get uploaded into our Bulls Connect system. And they can reach Bulls Connect by going to their MyUSF portal and connecting to Bulls Connect in that way. Very easy. Bulls Connect also has an app.
Is there an app for that?
There is.
All of our students have these smartphones.
There's always an app for that. And that is where they can find all of the different student organizations. That's where we have our event calendar. And so students can very easily see what event. They can actually RSVP that they want to go to that event or join an organization online and then get more of the information about what an organization is doing or what a department is doing as well. So that's the more official, structured way. The other way is that many of our departments and student organizations, most all of them have Instagram accounts. And so if you type into Instagram search USF bowling, you will find the USF Bowling Club probably. The Center for Student Involvement is a great one that I would start with in terms of looking at Instagram pages. And the other one is our New Student Connections. So those are two areas that will typically share different involvement opportunities from all over campus. And then if you're looking for ones where you're building community within an identity group, then I would say the Office of Multicultural Affairs is another great one to follow on Instagram as well.
Okay, so we got a great question from Colleen,
Okay, Colleen.
who asks, how many leadership opportunities are available in the summer?
Ah, that's a good one.
I mean, that's a tough time of year.
It is. So summer right now is a little quieter. Many of the organizations already did their elections in the spring. So their organizations this summer are, some of them are active. Our religious organizations are still pretty active in the summer. Intramurals, our sports organizations, depending on when their season is, are all pretty active. All of our departments are also doing programming, just a little less than they do in the fall or spring. A lot of it will pick up in summer B because we'll have a lot more students that are here on campus when we have the summer A students, the summer B students, and the summer C students. So there will be events, there are activities that are happening now, and they can see that on Bulls Connect. Many of our departments are still hiring for our student assistant and leadership roles. So those are definitely still opportunities this summer as well.
And they would look for those positions on?
The Career Services website, and they'd be able to find those there.
So usf.edu, I believe, /careers.
/careers, I believe.
I think
Yes.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely go to the careers website because that's where you're going to find all the jobs, not just student jobs, but also professional jobs.
Yeah. Student government is one of the areas right now that is hiring and selecting student leader positions. So even if you're a freshman, if you're a new student coming in, there are roles that you can take. And so that is one that I know is actively recruiting right now is student government.
And a shameless plug for our Bull Hall program.
Oh, yes.
That's a great way, especially for our incoming fall students, to get involved really almost before day one.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
you'll come early, you'll help students move in, and it's a great volunteer opportunity. You meet a lot of people, and there are about 500 or 600 volunteers. And so it's a great way to maybe begin your leadership career.
Right. Or for those students that started this summer who are already feeling a little more comfortable, that is also a great opportunity for them.
So when you think about our students and their leadership experience, what benefits do you feel will be they'll be able to use later on in life as well, not just during school?
Yeah. Well, I mean, during school, definitely, I think stress relief, meeting new people, meeting people that are different than you, meeting people that are like you. But what we know is that employers are looking for employees with the leadership skills of communication, how to motivate team members, how to achieve goals, how to manage projects, public speaking. These are all skills that you get from those student leadership positions. So what you learn as a student leader today will help you for the rest of your life. And one of the things I talk about is that many of us as adults are still involved in organizations, whether it be a PTA, a homeowners association, Boy Scouts, lots of different things that we may be in organizations. And boy, you can tell when someone's leading those organizations that didn't learn it as a college student, how to lead an organization.
There you go. Okay, so what advice would you give for people as they start their journey?
Yeah. So it can be overwhelming, the amount of opportunities that we have at USF. So unfortunately, what some students do is they wait and they decide they don't want to get involved their first semester. And that's a mistake. If all you're doing is going to class, while those classes are amazing and very stimulating, you won't have a lot of fun here at USF.
Humans are social.
We are social people, and we've been missing that over the past years. So I really encourage students to try things their first semester. Go to all of the not all of the Week of Welcome
Right.
events, but many of our Week of Welcome events. So the first week of every semester, departments and organizations all throughout the university will put on events to help students start to know what all the different opportunities are and to start to connect them with the university. So those Week of Welcome events are incredibly important to start seeing what those involvement are. If you're a continuing student and you didn't get involved that first semester, welcome back week. And so definitely those are not all for our new students. So, redo it and take that opportunity to go to those different events. You'll start to meet people. Ways that I got involved when I was in college was that my roommate wanted to go to a certain organization that I wasn't really interested, but she didn't want to go by herself. So I went with her. And then she went to an organization meeting with me so that we didn't have to go by ourselves, even if we weren't interested in them.
Okay.
So I encourage you to try that. Stop in at a student organization, go through fraternity or sorority recruitment. Those are great ways of determining whether these are organizations that you want to be a part of. There's no commitment, but what you will get to do is meet people along the way, and then determine what kinds of things that you want to get involved with. So the first thing is looking at Bulls Connect, looking at the social media sites, and determining what are some of the activities that you might want to be involved in. You can contact those student organizations and say, hey, are you doing anything this summer? Or what are your first events in the fall that I should go to? We also have student leaders that can help you get engaged as well. So in New Student Connections, we have our peer advisor leaders, our PALs. And I know that you're going to have Marnie Hauser here next week, and she's going to talk a lot about that. But our peer advisors, they are successful students. They have gotten engaged, they've gotten involved, and so they're going to be great resources for our students to learn that. We also have our involvement ambassadors in CSI, and those leaders can help the students find what organizations might be best for them or what opportunities, or help them start a new organization if they haven't found what they're looking for. So I think, the difficult part is that it can be overwhelming at first, but I think that the information that we put out about Week of Welcome events is a great start. And then, of course, going to Bulls Connect and just searching. You can filter Bulls Connect in terms of what interests you have, and that may help you then narrow down what types of activities you want to get involved with.
So sometimes even just starting in your comfort zone before leaving your comfort zone.
Exactly. So I tell students, my advice to students often is that by the time you leave USF, you should have gotten involved in 4 different things. One that's just for fun. So that is your comfort zone. If you like intramural sports, get involved with that. If you play Dungeons and Dragons or other role-playing games, get involved with that. So anything that's just for fun, that is going to be your outlet and it's going to help you meet other people. And then you should do something that's going to help you in your career. So it may be joining one of the organizations that is affiliated with your major, or it might be public speaking is something that you're going to be involved with in your career. So apply to be a tour guide. Those are great public speaking practices.
And you might get paid.
And get paid for it.
Hey, everybody needs money.
That's right. The third thing is do something that challenges you. This is the time to step out of those comfort zones. So if public speaking is something that you are not comfortable with, take on an opportunity where you get to talk in front of people. If you know that golf is something that business people do all the time and you need to learn how to play golf, this is an opportunity to do that. So something that's going to challenge you. And then the last thing, because it is a value of the university, is do something where you're giving back. So you're either giving back to our community within our world or within the Tampa Bay region, or giving back to the university by taking on other leadership roles like orientation leaders or student government leadership. And so those are the 4 things that as you're planning out your involvement journey of the university is, I think that those are important aspects that will help you navigate how all of these different opportunities that we have at USF.
Where were you all this time ago when I was going to school? I didn't do all that stuff.
You know, I did a lot of involvement activities. I can't say that I necessarily had a plan. You know, I went where the good-looking guys were.
Oh,
That's
well.
how I got involved. So
That always is a draw.
whatever motivates you is definitely, go for it.
So, how would students contact either your office or one of the 10 offices that you supervise to get more information about leadership or involvement activities?
Yeah, so when you go to the USF website, there is a student life section of that, and most all of our departments are connected through that area. We will do involvement fairs throughout the year. Those are important to go to, where you'll see a lot of the student organizations. For those of you coming for orientation, we will have tabling at the different resource fairs, and so those are all great opportunities to connect with departments, find out more about the different opportunities that they have and what organizations they work with as well.
Okay, great. And where are all these offices located?
Well, they're all over campus, but what you'll see is in the Marshall Student Center, there is the Student Life Tower. Which is the one area within USF where you'll see where many of my departments are housed right on top of each other. My office is also on the top floor, right next to student government. But campus recreation is on another side of
Sure.
campus. Our wellness educators, our student conduct, orientation, they're all over campus. But typically where we find ourselves many times is in the Marshall Student Center. If you look while you're waiting for the elevator, if you look on the screens, you'll find out information about different activities as well. But it's always a good start to just hang out at the Marshall Student Center on bull market days, which are Wednesdays, or other times of the year where we are tabling and trying to get out that information to our students. So they don't necessarily have to come to our offices to find us. We will come where they are.
Well, I feel like I don't even have to go to orientation with my son this summer because I think I just gotten it all.
There are many more resources and departments that you will hear from during orientation. And so it's important, definitely, that our families and our students go to that, especially to hear from our orientation leaders. I think it's, me talking about what I did in college years ago is one thing, but actually hearing it from our students and our BULLs that are currently enrolled and that are some of our most successful students, I think is a whole nother experience.
My student actually wanted to go to the in-person
Yes.
session.
Good.
There aren't a lot of them for transfers, but
Yes.
he did
Yes.
select one of the in-person ones,
I
so he's
highly
excited.
recommend that if they can come in person, especially if they've never come to campus before, that they come to one of those in-person sessions if there's room. We find that transfer students have a mixture of their interests. So
Right.
sometimes they're able to come and interested, and sometimes they're not. So we try to meet whatever interest or availability they have. But I would say that if you don't, if you are doing orientation online, you won't miss out on all of the Week of Welcome events, things like that. Plug in as soon as you get to campus.
Definitely. So it's been wonderful talking to you. And so, Dean McDonald, thank you very much for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you for having me. I love talking about all of the great opportunities there are at USF.
There seem to be a ton of them. And you and your offices do a great job. And we look forward to more impressive. And maybe we'll hit 800 this year.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Wouldn't that be
Absolutely.
great?
Yes.
All right. So if you have any additional questions about living on campus at USF, you can reach out to our office by email at housing@usf.edu or by phone at 813-974-0001. Be sure to join us for our next episode of Housing Live next Wednesday, June 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll be talking all about the new student experience at USF. You can watch on our Facebook or YouTube page or the USF Parent and Family Engagement Facebook page. Boy, that's a tongue twister. USF Live is produced by Housing and Residential Education at the University of South Florida in Tampa. Our motto is best place to live, best place to work, best place to learn. Thank you to tonight's guests for joining me this evening, and thank you to our production crew, to you, our viewers, and of course, there's always one last thing. Go Bulls!
Bulls.
Good night, everyone.